This is from, at the minute, one of my favorite books of the New Testament, the book of FOOZ. Y'all ever heard of what foozle? Y'all know what foozles are? We got a lot of no's. Y'all don't know what foozles are. All right, well, this is from the book of FOOZ. I ain't completed yet, but we got a couple of chapters we can read to you. A long, long time ago in a small town called Jerusalem, there was a small young boy named Jesus, son of Joseph. Now, Jesus' dad, Joseph, was a bit of a local legend back in those days, as he could make half a dozen stools in the same time it would take the average carpenter to make a quarter of a dozen stools. Jesus was only 10 years old at the time of this tale and should have been well on his way to being a carpenter himself and was expected to have had a good understanding of his father's trade. Jesus didn't spend too much time at the workshop because he was afraid of having to live up to the man his father was. Jesus would spend long hours locked away in his room reading old scripture and prophecy from the coming Messiah. Jesus thought to himself, "Gee, sure would be great to go back in time and see Moses part the seas. It seemed like nothing interesting ever happens here in Jerusalem. I was born in the wrong era." "That's what you think," came a high-pitched voice that sounded like it came from somewhere in the room. Jesus grabbed for the game-winning home run bat that was hung above his bed mantel. The bat didn't belong to Jesus. It belonged to his half-Japanese younger brother, Isukiri, whom Jesus begrudgingly shared a room with. "Show yourself or I'll whoop you over the head with this," Jesus yelled. "I played on my school team and I have a pretty mean swing." This was a lie. Isukiri was the real baseball player in the family. This wasn't because Jesus was necessarily bad at baseball. He would probably have been pretty good if he didn't get so nervous. Last time Jesus went to tryouts, he swung the bat before the pitcher even threw the ball. "Come now, Jesus. We both know that if you had the capacity to properly swing that thing, you wouldn't hurt a fly," the voice from the wall retorted. "Now put that ridiculous lump of wood down and I'll show myself to you." Jesus did as the voice said and lowered the baseball bat. Suddenly, a small door materialized halfway up the wall of the bedroom with a small brass handle. Jesus rubbed his eyes and looked again, thinking he must have been dreaming. The small door slowly opened to reveal a man who looked at most to only have been 13 inches tall, if you could even call him a man. He was wearing a bright yellow suit that Jesus had thought would have been quite expensive if it were adult human-sized. The small creature didn't have a strand of hair on his body, and his head was, well, long. Like a horse's head was long, and his hands were particularly small for the size of his body. "Do not be alarmed, Jesus," the small man said, "for I am not here to harm you, but to bring you great tidings." Jesus closed his mouth, which had been gaping wide open during this whole ordeal. After slapping himself in the face a few times, he finally mustered up the courage to speak. "Who are you?" Jesus asked the strange little man. "I'm not a who, or not a who that anyone in your plane would be capable of whoing. A better question to ask would be to ask what I am," said the man. Jesus replied, "Okay then, what are you?" Jesus asked the creature, who was filling a small pipe with tobacco. "I'm a foozle," replied the foozle, "and you are the Son of God." This is just one book in the New Testament, the book of FOOZ, and this is about Jesus' relationship with a teacher who was going to teach Jesus how to use his God powers on the planet FOOZ. There is a whole lot of the New Testament, let me tell you. And when it is released, y'all will be the first to know. We are going to be selling them to the congregation. Hopefully we can have some giveaways. We can give away some New Testaments for free. We'd like everyone in the world to have a New Testament.